Hello and welcome to episode number 365 of the TEW 288 Challenge Run. There's now an episode if you want to watch the whole series, it would take you a whole year if you watch an episode a day. Or something along those lines. Anyway, yeah, this is going to be SmackDown for week 2 of May 2023, and it's going to be the go-home show for Judgment Day. The SmackDown brand pay-per-view. I think we've basically got the full card announced at this point. If not officially announced, as good as. So it's just, tipping over that final line, the home stretch heading into the show. We're actually going to have 2 contract signings tonight. One for the World Heavyweight Championship match between Pete Dunne and Carmelo Hayes. One for the SmackDown Women's title match between Candice LeRae and Utami Hayashishita. And yeah, without any more further ado, let's jump straight into the show. We open the show up with Adam Pearce in the ring with a table for the first contract signing of the night, which will be for the SmackDown Women's Championship match. Utami comes out first. She's just looking like normal Utami. Takes a seat, probably slouching back, not really cares. Doesn't really care as much. Just sort of laid back. Maybe feet on the desk, but I think I'd overdo that. So maybe not. Then Candice comes out. She's just all happy and smiling, shaking hands with people on her way down. Puts the belt on the table, takes a seat. And Pearce's like, Candice, since you won that championship back at WrestleMania, you have been arguably the leading face of the SmackDown brand in the times when we didn't have a world champion. And so at Judgment Day, I've got your first pay-per-view defense of that title against one of the top stars of the women's division here on SmackDown. That's Utami Hayashishita. And, what's your mindset going into this match? And Candice also says, she's like, from the journey that I've been on, from the independents to getting to NXT, to getting to SmackDown, I was told no at every single step. I was told that when I started wrestling, I was never even going to make it to WWE. And then when I was in NXT, I was told I was never going to get called up and I would never be a champion. And I've defied all those odds right now, and I now know what it takes to be a champion here in WWE and what it takes to keep a hold of that championship here in WWE. So I look across from me, I see one of the greatest talents in this entire division, a standout in Japan, a standout here on SmackDown. But I look at her, all laid back, slouching in that chair, like she's pretending she doesn't give a care in the world. Not really one for emotions is our Utami here. She's trying to act all tough and cool, like she doesn't care, like, oh, it's a cakewalk, it's only Candice. But I think there's something more going on with you. Kishi, don't get me wrong, you are good. You're good. Hell, maybe you may even be better than me. But there's one thing that I've got going that you have, and that's that will and that desire to win. Because let's run the clock back, Utami. I'm looking at you, and I don't see the face of a woman who's confident. I see the face of jealousy. I see the face of jealousy because I've got what you want. And I've got what you thought you were going to get. But since you've been here over the past year, hasn't really gone the way you thought it would, has it, on? You came in, all the fanfare in the world, big Royal Rumble debut. Only a handful of people have ever done that, On the akin of an AJ Styles, that's what you came into this company as. And then you didn't sign to SmackDown or Raw because acquiring you for our roster was such in high demand, and you ended up choosing SmackDown. You've stayed loyal to SmackDown ever since, but where's that really gotten you? You came in, all the hype in the world. You came in ready to be the new star, to grab that ball and run with it. But a year's gone by, and what have you got to show for any of this? Huh? Nothing. You didn't win the Royal Rumble. I did. You're not the SmackDown Women's Champion. I am. You didn't main event WrestleMania. I did. So, you can sit there and you can pretend like, oh, I'm badass and cool. I'm just going to show no emotion. I don't care to be here. I know, I can read you. And again, I know that come Judgment Day, I'm in for the fight of my life. But I didn't get this championship by giving up when I knew I was in for a fight of my life. If anything, I thrive when the odds are against me. So, promise me this, girl. Promise me one thing. After Judgment Day, when you come up short yet again on your quest to become the champion, I want you to take a look at yourself and maybe try a different approach, because what I've got is working. What you've got, I'm not so sure. And then she signs the contract, and Utami just sat there just glaring a hole through Candice. And Utami stands up, and she just signs the paper, and she has a stare down with Candice. That's when the music of Chelsea Green and Deonna Purrazzo hits. And they start running their mouths, giving it the big in about why they're not in the title match. She's going to speak to the manager, gets in Adam Pearce's face, because you're the manager, sort this out right now. He's like, well, I will. We'll have a tag team match. Utami and Candice will team up. Can they coexist to take on VXT, Chelsea Green and Deonna Purrazzo to open the show in a match that gets an 82. So the finish here, imagine they actually are coexisting a decent amount. So I do want to say that even after that promo, like, this is still face versus face. So they are still working babyface. They are still, working together well. And at the end, Candice has got Chelsea down. She hits a lion salt. And then she goes to the corner. She goes to do that diving neck breaker. When Utami tags herself in and hits her finisher on Chelsea and pins her for the 1-2-3. And Candice just sort of stood around watching on in confusion, like, okay. 81 for Candice, 85 for Utami, 62 for Deonna, and a 50 for Chelsea. And then after the match, the referee comes in, hands Candice the belt. And Utami sort of just gets into her face again. Shoves Candice, probably. It's like, I'm a winner. Okay? I'll show you what makes me special. Enjoy the last 2 days with that. And she walks off, Candice on her ass after she got shoved on the floor. So yeah, tension's boiling over here. We've only got 2 days to find out before these two go at it for the title at Judgment Day. Kevin Owens is back. No, never mind. Kayla Braxton is backstage with Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn, is what I was going to say. And she says, last week, you two were backstage. You got into a little bit of a kerfuffle with the new World Heavyweight Champion, Carmelo Hayes. And Kev goes, we've got a lot of problems right now, Kayla. A lot of things on our plate, We came here after WrestleMania to take down Adam Cole and the Paragon. And that's all well and good. Now, we were looking for Tag Team Championship gold, and that's still well and good, but now apparently we've got our nose in Carmelo Hayes' business, because, I don't know, apparently Carmelo Hayes, he's giving it all talk around here, and, like, nobody's really got the chance to shut his mouth yet. And I'd quite like to shut his mouth, but he's busy with fighting Pete Dunne at Judgment Day, so me and Sammy are just going to watch out from afar, and then LA Knight walks in. And he goes, boys, let me talk to you. You see, welcome to the club, boys. Welcome to SmackDown. I hope you enjoy your stay, because it seems you two may have forgotten how things work around here, being in that tag team shtick for all this time, okay? Because there's only one person on this brand who's going to be the next World Heavyweight Champion, and it ain't you, Sami Zayn, it ain't you, Kevin Owens, nah. You know exactly who it is, that next World Heavyweight Champion. Everybody's saying, L.A. Knight. Yeah. Let me see. Seth Rollins goes, oh, sorry, did I interrupt something important here? Because all I see is 3 delusional idiots thinking they're going to take a claim on my show, on top of my mountain, okay? Don't get it twisted. Carmelo Hayes, he may have that championship for now. Whenever he drops it to Pete Dunne on Sunday night, it doesn't matter. Because once I deal with Roman Reigns this Sunday and I banish Roman Reigns away from my show, I need to reclaim what is mine, and that is that World Heavyweight Championship to become the face of this brand once again. I don't care if you get in my way, I'll put you all SmackDown. And Sammy goes, you're giving me a lot of talk for someone who very likely might not even be on SmackDown next week. And Steph's like, excuse me? Do you want to say that again with my boys here? And then Jacob Fatu and Solo step forward. And Kev goes, great. What I see 3 of you, and I see 3 of us. So, how about tonight, in the main event, me, Sammy, and this guy, and I get LA Knight, yeah. Him, we team up on you, and we give you a farewell from this brand, because you've written another check that your body can't cash, Seth Rollins, because you're going to get a bad farewell to SmackDown. Courtesy of KO Show. And they walk off, and then he goes, and LA Knight, yeah. So that's our 6-man tag. Seth Rollins, Solo Sikoa, and Jacob Fatu against LA Knight, Sami Zayn, and Kevin Owens is the main event tonight. Setting up world title picture, I guess, beyond Judgment Day, which looks stacked to me, if I do say so myself. We then cut backstage. Well, no, cut backstage. Actually, yeah, we probably do cut backstage. Like a room. Like we just cut through a hallway and there's a room with smoke going out the bottom. And then we fade into the room and Matt Riddle and Snoop are in there. And he goes, check it for shizzle. You go, Riddle, I've been WWE Hall of Famer for a while now, but I've never had a proper match here in WWE. And this Sunday, Rick Ross, I'ma put him down. You put that bum Swerve down. And we prove why we are the OGs. I get it, bro. These guys have been a pain in my ass for so long, bro. I'm so glad I've got a friend like you who I can have so much in common with, bro. And, we get to sit back here and chill and just do our thing, bro, without the world watching. And at Judgment Day, I'm going to show world why you are a WWE Hall of Famer, bro. So, yeah, just a quick segment of Riddle and Snoop in a smoky room, quote-unquote, to hype up their tag team match at Judgment Day against Swerve Scott and Rick Ross. 66 could be better, but actually based on the 2 teams involved, I guess it's actually quite good. So, yeah, and it is Aussie Open to pick up the win, of course, over the French Connection. Brad Sawyer pins Edric Enofe with an airplane spin. 59 for Kylan Rogers, 57 for Brad Sawyer, 50 for Edris, and a 52 for Malik Blade. And yeah, second week in a row, the Frenchmen have come out and, lost, but put up a good showing. I mean, this isn't as good as David Martin's 90 with Dolph Ziggler last week, but given the 2 teams involved, that's still a good rating. I'll take that. And then after the match, we see Cesaro and Bryan backstage watching when Kayla walks up and is like, any final thoughts going into Judgment Day? And Bryan goes, Kayla, those 2 guys made an impact when they first came here on SmackDown. They laid us out our first night here with these titles. And now it's us against them at Judgment Day. And don't get me wrong, we've been a big fan of these guys for a while now. We've been following their every move around the world. So to see them finally make it to WWE's is going to be a fight. We're going to be in for a tough fight on Sunday, because they are one of the greatest tag teams in the world. But so are we. We didn't get these championships just to lose them at the first hurdle. There's so many other faces here in this division that we'd love to face off with. And to get to those, we've got to get past Aussie Open. So Kayla, what do we go thinking going into Judgment Day? It's going to be one hell of a fight. But we will come out on top. We then cut to the D'Angelo family restaurant, and Tony sat there in the middle. They've all got a glass of wine. I can imagine it's Tony. He's in the middle. You've got the table for 6. You've got Tony at the head, and then Stacks and 2 Dimes either side of him, opposite each other, and then next to one of them is Big Cass, and next to the other one is Elektra. And he's there, he goes, boys, Elektra, they've all got wine. He gives a toast. He goes, here's to a successful debut on SmackDown, and here's to which Sunday night, a Judgment Day, when the family makes their successful in-ring debut against Karrion Kross and his boys, and they will give a toast. And then a waiter comes and gives them all their food. And Tony puts his bib on. Ah, yes, the famous D'Angelo family spaghetti and meatballs. You're all gonna love it. You're all gonna love it, okay? Cooked to perfection, you see. Then he sees one of the plates and it's got something different on it. Or like a hair or something. And he goes, "Hey, wise guy, get over here." He calls the waiter back over. And he goes, "What's this? What you call this? I bring my family here for a nice a celebratory meal for taking over SmackDown. This is how you pay us? Huh? Hairs in the food? Huh? You know what? You ain't getting a tip for this service. Forget about it. Forget about it." He goes, "I'm sorry, sir. Like, what do you want me to do?" He goes, "What do you want me to do? Take it away. Take it away. And you better watch your back, buddy, or you'll be sleeping with the fishes." He goes, "Sir, I think that's an unnecessary threat." And then Big Cass stands up from the table, like, emphatically slams the table down. And he, like, just stares up against him, backs him against the wall. And then he's like, "We got a problem here?" And he's like, "No, sir, no, sir, no, sir." And he says, "Well, what are you going to do? You going to take the Don's food away? Get him a new one? A fresh, properly prepared meal?" And the waiter's like, "Yes, okay, I'm on it, sir." And he takes the food away. Then Big Cass just sits down, like, gestures for Tony to continue the toast. And he goes, I'm about done anyway. Anyway, to SmackDown. They were to SmackDown. And to the family. The family. We then cut from that to the ring, where you go, enough. Look at that. You see that? That's the kind of behavior you cheer around here, huh? Bullying a poor innocent soul. Heh, two can play at that game. So here we are, kid. Mr. D'Angelo. Stacks. 2 dimes. Figured you're coming to take over my show. Huh? We'll see about that. Because this is our official acceptance of your challenge. At Judgment Day, the Karrion Kross cult will put you down, and we don't want any excuses. We want to fight. This match, falls will count anywhere. Now anyway, there's some local guy stood in the corner of the ring. He calls him over, goes, "What's your name, kid?" And he's like, "Daryl Simon." He goes, "Hey, Daryl Simon. I see. Well, kids here in the American Airlines Arena are about to see a live massacring of one Daryl Simon. But kid," he puts his hand on his shoulder, he goes, "it's nothing personal." And then the match happens. 56, Karrion actually gets a win. Because if I'm putting him on the pay-per-view, I should actually give him a win. So he just squashes this local guy in 3 minutes. Cross jacket. 76 for Karrion Kross, 24 for Daryl Simon. And yeah. And now we have it officially confirmed that at Judgment Day it will be Karrion Kross, Carland, and Cutler. Or Karrion Kross, Carcass, and Cutler of the Karrion Kross cult. That's a lot of K's, taking on the D'Angelo families, Tony D'Angelo, Channing Stacks Lorenzo, and Troy 2 Dimes Donovan. We then get, because I've got nothing else to extend this feud, I did the go home angle last week by accident, so it's just a recap showing their histories, their match at WrestleMania, the feud and all that since then. Kyrie Neo, narrated by Cammy, talking about the history of them heading into this evil battle of the wits at Judgment Day. Whose Judgment Day will it be, you could ask? We then get an interview. Kayla's with Florence. And she says, "Florence, last week you tried to get yourself that SmackDown Championship match at Judgment Day, but you came up short in that fatal 4-way. So what are your thoughts tonight heading into your match with Ruby Riott?" And Florence goes, "Since WrestleMania, I've seen things in a new light. I won the WrestleMania Women's Battle Royal. I was drafted to SmackDown as one of the brightest rising stars of the brand. And now I face Ruby Riott. And she's going to be a tough competitor. Don't get me wrong, but I'm looking here to continue to make my mark here on SmackDown and prove why Pierce was right to back me." And then we can say, "Oh," someone yawning from off screen. It's like, okay, you done? Ding dong, Kayla, why are we talking to this idiot, okay? This big idiot who she ever beat. You should be talking about me. You should be talking about the greatest SmackDown champion of all time. How I'm going to go to Judgment Day this Sunday, beat that big idiot Asuka and shut her up for good after what she did to Cora last week, okay? And Florence goes, well, you're talking a big game for someone whose last 2 teammates got bodied by Asuka. And she's like, excuse you? It's like, oh, speaking of the devil, where is Cora and Dakota now, huh? And Bayley goes, well, Dakota got misted in the eyes with that pepper mist last week. I'm sure if I sprayed some in your big dumb face, you wouldn't like it either. And she's like, okay, and Dakota? And Bayley's like, Dakota is... Anyway, that's not important. What matters is you getting embarrassed tonight in your big showcase match because you're not the star around here on this brand. I am. Okay, now get out of my face. She's ushers Florence away. She's like, okay, well, I've got a match to prepare for anyway, so knock yourself out. And Florence leaves. And Bayley just looks at Kate like, can you believe her? We then cut to Keith Lee in the ring. And he says, ladies and gentlemen, if I do require, if only a few moments of your time to speak of the words that are in my brain regarding this Sunday's Judgment Day Premium Live event and my scheduled contest against the WWE Hall of Famer, Big Papa Pump himself, Mr. Scott Steiner. Okay, so for the last few months, Mr. Steiner has made a mark here on SmackDown. He seems to have an issue with yours truly regarding my team with his nephew, Mr. Braun Breaker. Now, Mr. Steiner, I thought you were retired from in-ring competition, but now I see that you've challenged me to a match on Judgment Day, and I've accepted because, well, if it's one thing to prove to you that me and your nephew are great tag team partners, it's to beat your ass at Judgment Day, because you've been, for lack of a better term, Mr. Steiner, if you do excuse my French, you have been quite the nincompoop since you showed up here on SmackDown.
Where's the lie?
He's then cut off by Bobby Fish. Because Keith. There's a lot of big words coming out of your mouth there. I'm telling you, nobody wants to hear any of them. There's only one person here on SmackDown that these fans want to hear from. And that's Bobby Fish. And I mean, folks, where's the lie? But enough about me, Keith. Let's talk about you. Since you're your own favorite subject, Keith, let me talk about you. You are whining and bitching like a baby, but you're doing so in such a manly voice that it makes it sound like you're not whining and bitching like a baby, because you know that everything Scott Steiner said about your tag team with Braun Breaker is true. Braun Breaker was heralded as one of the brightest stars in NXT, the future of this damn company, possibly the next guy to carry the company into the next decade and beyond. But now he's stuck losing next to a washed up loser. And I mean, folks, where's the lie? And Keith Lee goes, well, greetings and salutations to you, Mr. Fish. If it is the location of the falsification that you do require, well, I'd be happy to show you in a contest right now. And Bobby goes, no, Keith, I'm not looking for a fight. Okay, I'm looking for the lie. And Keith goes, well, too bad, because here comes an officiating referee. And then a match starts, and Keith Lee and Bobby Fish have a 79. That's actually not bad, okay? But, of course, Keith Lee wins, and Bobby Fish gets a 59, Keith Lee gets a 79. And yeah, no lie found for Bobby Fish here tonight, but an L has been found. After the match, though, Keith Lee celebrating when he's jumped with a steel chair by Scott Steiner. And I imagine Braun Breaker's with him. He's, Bronson, get in here! And Braun Breaker just stands in the ring. He just watches as Scott Steiner unloads on Keith with a steel chair. He goes, huh? Fat ass, huh? Huh? Trying to ruin my son's career out of jealousy, huh? Huh? Nephew, even? Huh? I'll tell you what. You think you're going to step to me, huh? Well, at Judgment Day, you got a 33 and a third chance of winning because Bronson's basically in this match and he knows that I'm going to beat you because you are a loser, Keith, and that's the truth. Because Bronson, get over here. And Bron Breakker still just like stood in the corner as Scott Steiner like shouts down at Keith. And then goes, I said, get over here! And then Scott Steiner has to go up to Bron Breakker. And he gets in Bron Breakker's face. He's like, you listen here, boy. What would your daddy be thinking right now if he was here, if he could see you acting like this, huh? Acting like this, soy boy, while I'm beating up a tag team partner who's holding you back, huh? The amount of times me and your daddy had to turn on each other to get ahead in this business, huh? Do you want to be like him, or do you want to be successful like me, huh? He sort of shoves Bron Breakker in the face. And then Bron shoves Scott Steiner back. And he turns around into a pounce by Keith Lee. And Big Papa Pump is pounced in the face. Pounced in the face. Just pounced. And then Keith Lee sort of like slowly turns to Bron and gives him a slow nod of the head. And Bron nods him back. And then Keith leaves. We then get an Ilya Dragunov video package. One of the ones about him taking a bunch of fucking pain and shit. Like this is how he trains himself. Smashes shit against his chest. Smashes shit against his head. He will not go down. That sort of thing. Like just getting him over as like a fucking Russian nutcase. Because he broke out heading into WrestleMania to get in that match, but since then he's still been banging, but he's not really had a direction, so he's got something in the oven. It's fine. We then get the second contract signing of the night. Adam Pearce is back in the ring, this time with Trick Williams and Carmelo Hayes and Pete Dunne. And he orders Pete Dunne out first. Pete comes down, he sits down. Much like Utami, he's also very slouching and just nonchalant. But now comes Mello, suited and booted, necklace, watch, fancy dressed. Tricky's with him. He takes a seat. And he goes, Pete will be the first to talk. And the Pete Dunne takes the mic. And he goes, I'll be honest, Adam. I think the time for talking's over. I don't really think there was a time for talking. It's always time to fight. And at Judgment Day, I'm going to fight. I'm going to smash his face in. I'm going to win back that championship that I should never have lost in the first place. He slams the mic down, signs the contract, and throws the contract at Mello. And he goes, whoa, Pete, relax, Pete. I'd be like, listen, we didn't come for any hostility here tonight, okay? We'll save that till Sunday. But here's my words of wise from the champ to the chump, okay? You should be thanking me, Pete. You should be thanking me because you ain't got what it takes to carry this brand, to carry the weight of carrying this brand on your shoulders. That's a lot of stress, Pete, and I don't think you've got what it takes to thrive under that pressure. But you see, Money Mello don't miss. He was born and bred to be atop of this brand, huh? I didn't hold on to that Money in the Bank briefcase for nearly 11 damn months just to drop this championship after 2 weeks. You must have another thing going on in your brain, Pete. Because you can't beat me. I proved that. And I prove it to every single person I step into the ring with that you may be great. You may be very, very great. But there's only one him. And that ain't you, Pete Dunne. That's Carmelo Hayes. And you think that this being a fair fight is going to give you a chance? You might as well give up now, Pete, because there ain't no chance. And Pete goes, well, I've signed it. Why don't you sign it? And then, once it's official, we can prove who the tougher man is right here, right now. And then Carmelo Hayes signs the contract. And he gets up to leave, but Pete Dunne will grab Trick Williams, and he'll probably plant a bitter end on Tricky through the table. And Mello's already on the ramp as Tricky gets put through the table. And they have a shouting match like there's an invisible force field and Pete Dunne can't get to him. Because this is wrestling. We then see a big video package of Chase U Spring Break earlier today. Andre Chase is there. He's grilling at the barbecue. He's grilling Chase U burgers or whatever. And Shane Reynolds is there and he's trying to rizz up some girls. Bodie Hayward's there. Haley Paul's there, probably trying to do her homework, but Thea's trying to get her to play games like smash a pinata, do limbo and shit like that, dive into the pool. And Bodie's doing Bodie Hayward things. I don't really know what he'd be doing. Just having a grand old time of things here at the Chase U Spring Break. Probably a couple of other like actual wrestlers from the roster, but I don't know who specifically. Mid-carders, the French people, people like that. And then Shane comes and sits down next to Bodie, and he goes, "Oh, tough work here, A lot of these girls apparently don't like Chase U students." And Bodie's like, I find that hard to believe. And then it's like, "Hey, look, those girls, I haven't seen them here today." And then Shane looks across at him, he sees two women just sort of sat in the shade. He's like, "Watch this, okay? Watch what I'm about to do." And he walks up to him, he takes a seat next to him, goes, "Oh, great hot day today, isn't it, right?" And then the two girls finally like turn around and we can see that it's Alba Fire and Isla Dawn. And Shane's like, whoa, whoa. Sorry, I didn't mean to. I'm just gonna go, and you keep doing what you're doing here. And he sort of runs off, and he says, "Mr. Chase, we've got to go." He goes, "Why? We're just getting started." And he points over to the area where Isla and Alba were, and they're gone. And Andre's like, "Well, what are you putting there, Shane? I don't see anyone there." Because they were there just right now. And then we cut back to Thea and Haley, chilling. Thea probably soaking wet in a towel after she just come out of the pool, but Haley's still sitting there doing her homework. She goes, "Oh, come on, how long have you got? Like, it's spring break, why are you still doing this? Come on, we gotta go, there's so much shit to do." And like, you're still saying, "Oh, I'm nearly finished, okay? I just need help with this one question." She goes, "Well, why don't you go ask those guys for help?" And then sat across the table is Alba and Isla. And then Thea just suddenly like notices it's them. She's like, Haley, we gotta go. And then Thea runs off. And Haley just looks up from a book doing her homework. Looks across, nobody else is at the table. She's like, weird. And then Andre Chase wraps it all up. He sends the group home. They all get onto the bus to leave to go back to the arena. When, of course, out from the shadows appear Ryla Dawn and Alba Fire, who have been haunting Spring Break all day. Oh, 84. Okay, I didn't expect this to go this hard. Florence against Ruby Riott, a match I've never seen before anywhere ever. 10 minutes 45. Florence picks up the win with the lariat. I haven't named it yet. The Haterade, and I can't call it that because that's not her name. She's gonna have some sort of name for it, and that picks up the win in 10:45. 77 for Florence, 79 for Ruby, and yeah, banger to give her a nice rebound because she lost her first match on SmackDown. She didn't get pinned, but she still lost it because she was in that 4-way. So I thought, yeah, she needs to just get a win here, and Ruby felt like the best opponent to do that with because that's a credible heel. We then see Garza pulling up. We see him in a car with the rest of the MILFs pulling up. And he goes, "Okay, ladies, I've told you who we're looking for, right? Blonde, blue eyes, beautiful. Okay." And we see he's pulled up to MILF Manor, where he was a couple of months ago. And the other three girls follow him and like, okay, I guess I gotta find this woman. He opens the doors and there's so many MILFs just around him, but for the first time in his life, he doesn't care. Because there's only one woman he's specifically looking for. And he'll tap the blonde women's on their shoulder, they'll turn around, he'll go, "Oh, you're not her." He'll tap another blonde woman on the shoulder, goes, "Oh, you're not her." And then we just get a comedy bit of Garza and the three women walking around looking for Garza's MILF, but she's not here. And he leaves, depressed, wondering what to do next. Bray Wyatt then comes to the ring. Unannounced for the first time since his loss at WrestleMania. And he goes, I've been meaning to come out here for weeks now and say what's on my mind. Because I feel like at WrestleMania, man, I let you all down. At WrestleMania, you were rooting for Bray Wyatt to come back and to win, and I didn't get it done. But not only did I let you all down, I let down some of my closest friends. And they all took it out on me, man. It didn't feel so good. But what losing has done has helped me see the light, man. So, he looks dead into the camera. And he goes, all of you, my friends, my beloved friends, please, I'm begging you, leave me alone, man. I'm trying to do my own thing. I don't want to be that guy anymore. I want to be me. And you're making it really hard to be me. So please, if you take one thing from me, take this. I'm done. It's yours. You can have it. Just let me go. And then he leaves. 65. Okay match rating. It's the match we announced last week. Indy Hartwell coming to make her first match on SmackDown. She's against Killer Kelly. And Sanga accompanies Indy to the ring. But the match doesn't go according to Indy's plan, because I imagine during the match, we're going to do the bit they did in NXT in real life, where Sanga was out. I think he was watching Valentina and Ulissa. And then Veer just wandered out and whispered something in his ear and took him to the back. We're going to run that spot back. And Indy's going to be distracted, turn around, and Killer Kelly's going to lay her out with a super kick and pin her. 67 for Indy, 54 for Killer Kelly. And yeah, I guess that's also her SmackDown debut, and she gets a win. Quite unfortunate for Indy that drama involving Sanga has cost her the match here tonight. But that's tonight. This Sunday, we have SmackDown's first premium live event since WrestleMania, that being the Judgment Day pay-per-view. We now have the finalized card, just a couple of more matches we haven't had officially announced yet. The first is for the World Heavyweight Championship, and the new champion himself, Carmelo Hayes, makes his first defense of the championship in a rematch against the former champion of, 10 minutes? The Bruiserweight, Pete Dunne. And of course, we have announced a family versus cult 6v6 tag team Falls Count Anywhere battle as the D'Angelo family, Tony D'Angelo, Channing Stacks Lorenzo, and Troy Two Dimes Donovan battle Karrion Kross, Carcass, and Cutler of the Karrion Kross cult. And of course, we found out on Heat this week that the women's tag team champions Liv Morgan and Hikaru Shida live for a battle will defend the titles at Judgment Day against the Raw duo of Ivy Nile and Tatum Paxley. And in the main event, speaking of 6v6, speaking of anything goes, it'll be Seth Rollins, Solo Sikoa, and Jacob Fatu versus Roman Reigns and the Usos inside Hell in a Cell, the finale of this all, where the losing team will leave SmackDown. And then we have a 98-rated main event. Okay, so I can say it now the show's over. The existence of this match literally only existed because I knew I had a lot of short matches on this show. I had the Karrion Kross squash match, I had French people versus the Aussies, I had Indy Hartwell versus Killer Kelly. So I was like, what's a long match I can do just to fill out that time? And this came to mind. And now I have a perfect segue here because it's actually Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn and LA Knight who pick up the win. I imagine the finish is the big boys outside get neutralized. Sammy does the dive through the rope DDT thing on one of them. And then it's just Kevin Owens and Seth Rollins in the ring. He goes for the stomp. That's when Roman Reigns' music hits. And the tribal chief just comes out and stands on the stage. And then Seth's like, "Why, go away, Roman, go away." He turns around into a stunner. And Kevin Owens pins Seth Rollins, thanks to a distraction from Roman Reigns. 85 for LA Knight, 92 for Sami Zayn, 85 for Kevin Owens, 80 for Jacob Fatu, 77 for Solo, and a 96 for Seth. And then, after the match, the Usos come out and stand by Roman's side. I imagine they might even have a weapon. They might even have pipes or something, or Seth would go grab a chair. And Kev, Sammy, and LA Knight sort of look around and they sort of like realize, oh fuck, we better let them at it. And they all just retreat through the crowd. And we get the big brawl to end the night. Massive brawl, weapons involved around ringside. Announce table smashed. Security running out. Probably some of them even getting decked by Solo and Jacob. Somebody does a big dive onto all of the bodies. Probably Roman, actually. That sounds like that. Yeah. And then we stand at the ring, and the Bloodline throw up the ones in the middle of the ring to end the show. And did they just end Seth Rollins, Jacob Fatu, and Sosikoa's time here on the Blue Brand? We'll have to wait until Sunday night to find out. But the show gets a 95, because that main event fucking banged. And we've got Velocity coming up, where we don't have any. We crowned Hoovy as the contender for Ray last week. And so we've got just a couple of matches set. I think one of them will be determined the next 6-man tag challenges. But other than that, let's see you on the other side. Velocity kicks off with a quick match. Zachary Ben-Shahar beats a local road man by the name of Young Bloodclot in 8 minutes 9 seconds with a champagne super knee bar. Bloodclot is apparently injured and he got a 25. And Zachary Ben-Shahar got to 67. They have great chemistry, so this is a future main event in any arena, I have to say. And after the match, Shochi Funaki, the number one interviewer here on Velocity, gets into the ring. And Ben-Shahar's like, oi. I know you saw that fantastic victory I got there. And I know all the ladies watching at home saw that victory. And you know what would look good on these gorgeous faces around these waists? Will help us get whatever girl we want back into bed. It's those Cruiserweight Trios Championships. So, Death from Above, why don't you get your ass out here and we can make this official? And then out come Death from Above, and Senior Chris was like, okay, first of all, relax with this, it's an ick. Second of all, if you want a tag team title defense against these guys, all you gotta do is ask. We're not hard to find, so how about in 2 weeks' time? Trios Championship match, the Lady Killers against Death from Above. But how about tonight? Pistolero's feeling fighty. You're looking fighty, so pick one of these other two men, and let's go one-on-one right now. And it is Sid Cottrell who steps up for a 78. Pistolero is a fucking god, man, I swear. He picks up the win, 12:33 Revolution Fly, 94 for Pistolero, and a 37 for Sid Cottrell. He may be the best wrestler in the world, He might have to drop these tag titles soon so he can move up to SmackDown full time and just not kicking ass. 52, Scripts beats Daryl Simon, the same small man who got beat by Karrion Kross on SmackDown. Because I already had him, I thought I may as well use him again. And it's another victory for Scripts, who's racking up a lot of wins recently. He gets a 59 and a 25 for Daryl Simon. And the main event, which gets a 69, is Rey Mysterio and Hoovy teaming up against the Daivari brothers of the Nice business. Still sworn enemies of Rey Mysterio. But yes, it is our Jey Uso, what am I saying? Juventud and Rey Mysterio who pick up the win. Rey hits the 619 and dropping the dime on Sean Daivari. 53 for Sean, 54 for Aria, 49 for Hoovy, and a 72 for Rey, the Cruiserweight Champion. And so ends this week's episode of Velocity, which has a 69. Nice. What matters more is what you thought of the show, obviously, and mainly of SmackDown. So do let me know what you thought in the comments below. And I'll see you next time for episode 366, where if you're watching this one video a day for a year, on a leap year, we'll have caught you up, and it's going to be the Judgment Day pay-per-view. See you then.